We go to election night.
We suck again!
Clean sweep.
Loser!
New York, New Jersey, Virginia.
What?
All Democrat.
Hold up.
All socialist.
Wait a minute.
And for those who voted for this shit,
What?
yeah, their world is about to get wrecked. I'm Jazz Borganzo, and this, who's to blame? Legacy Media.
Oh, it's true!
For protecting and defending their asses.
That is also true!
But it's what's next.
The game has just begun.
What's up, everyone? Happy Thursday. Jazz Borganzo, what's next? Your daily dose. Hope you guys are feeling good today on this day. Well, the last 24 to 48 hours has been nonstop talk about the election ramifications. 3 states, New York, New Jersey, and Virginia. All Democrat, all socialist, and a clean sweep. Now, of course, for those in the know, especially when it comes to local politics, when it comes to these 3 states, you would think New York, and New Jersey, not a big deal. They're Democrat. You expect it as much. Virginia was more of a purple than an actual red state. So, of course, elections were ran. They were ran very poorly. And, of course, Republicans got their asses handed to them. But when you are electing, politicians who have made it very clear that socialism is going to rule them all, just like one ring, that's a problem. But when you see poll after poll after poll, they were more worried about the economics of the situation than social issues. So I understand, you're more worried about, what's in your pocket, how to feed your kids, grocery prices, gas prices, and so on. But when you have people who are running for these offices, 2 for governor, 1 for a mayor, and who made it very clear that capitalism is going to die under their watch and they're going to ruin lives, you would think maybe, just maybe, I may not want to vote for this guy or this gal. We're going to concentrate on one specifically, and this is in Virginia, the Attorney General's race, and how comments made in the past would have bitten anybody else in the ass, but when it comes to Democrats, that's what they have the media for, to protect their asses. And here we go. This comes out of Outkick. Jay Jones, Attorney General, now Attorney General-elect, shows Legacy Media is devoted to helping Democrats win. Well, that should be no surprise to anyone. Jones sent messages in 22 saying that he would piss on graves and hope Republican children would die. Those are facts. Jay Jones, the Democratic candidate for Attorney General, has won his election in Virginia. Normally, the race for AG in Virginia wouldn't be much of a national interest. Except a massive story broke in the weeks leading up to the election about Jones's private conduct, and it was thoroughly and completely disqualifying. A series of text messages he sent in 22 leaked, demonstrating the excruciating detail how monstrous Jones' ideology is, and views were taken to their logical conclusion. Quote, "If those guys before me, I will go to their funerals and piss on their graves," he said of one of them regarding Republicans. 3 people, 2 bullets, Gilbert, Hitler, and Pol Pot. Gilbert gets 2 bullets to the head, he said, referring to a Virginia Republican. If he had his choice, he would take out the Republican versus the 2 aforementioned. Nice. Spoiler, put Gilbert in the crew with 2 of the worst people you know, and he receives both bullets every time, quote, end quote, by one Jay Jones. He added that he hoped that Gilbert's children would die because they were breeding a little fascist, and only when people feel pain personally do they move on policy. What a peach. This guy's a real winner now. In a sane world, Jones would have been forced to drop out after a wave of justified outrage over what he said. In the world we live in currently in 2025, legacy media outlets work tirelessly to do what they always do, protect the Democratic Party, to protect liberals, to protect knuckleheads and morons. Jay Jones gets rewarded for being in the right party. The story on Jones' messages would have led national news. It would have been disqualifying. It should have led to a mass calls for resignation from the political left, especially since it came so soon after horrific assassination of one Charlie Kirk. Instead, the left circled the wagons. They defended Jones. They supported him. Not one prominent Democrat, not even one moderate, came out. and forced him to drop out of the race and call for it, the media supported it because, of course, that's what they do. Here's how NBC Washington wrote about the story. Democratic candidate for Virginia AG criticized for old text messages, wanting a perfect example of how to downplay a story to protect your party. That's it. Democratic candidate for Virginia AG criticized for old text messages. Instead of calling out for what it is, garbage, very destructive nonsense coming out of this guy's mouth. No, we're going to say, well, there was just some old text messages and he was misunderstood. Instead of expressing shock and horror that Jones wished for the death of children, it implied that simply old text message. Could it be anything, right? Maybe he said he didn't care, didn't like cake or dogs or something. That's why he was criticized for these old texts. Stand to reason that only 46% of Virginia voters found Jones's text disqualifying. No surprise. It's likely that the majority of them never heard what he actually said, or for a sizable and growing majority on the left, they didn't give up anyway. This is from a poll from Fox News.
If you look at some of the questions over the J. Jones text and that scandal from text back to 2022 and how this is affecting the Attorney General's race there, possibility of a split ticket.
46% disqualifying, 25% concerning, not disqualifying, 10% not concerning, and 17% haven't heard enough. Now, could that 17% could have moved the needle and forced J. Jones to lose the race? Yeah, but more than likely, they didn't just give up. There were a handful of segments here and there, most downplaying the text and focusing on Jones' apology. Yes, how wonderful a non-apology it was. Then it disappeared. Why? Because it made prominent Democrat Party candidate look bad. And we can't have that, Very bad, very bad. Now it's a sign of just how far gone the political left has gone, particularly in progressive areas like Virginia. Actually Jones is going to be the top law enforcement officer in that state. Well, then again, he wants to bump off kids and Republicans. Well, he's in a good spot. Democrats are broken by blue sky, by a legacy media that will do anything and say anything to promote left-wing politics. Do not fear information that could challenge your views. They don't care about that. They don't care about their hypocrisy or about the absurdity of being put up. This is the house we believe in. In this house we believe love is love and kindness this, kindness that, then electing J. Jones. And they'll never have to, because the information bubbles they live in and allow it. Jones was the inevitable result. Let's make it very clear. The fact of the matter is that when you have these three states, and like I said in the beginning, no one should be surprised that they were swept by Democrats. But what's very surprising is how very little Republicans actually pushed back on this. New York, Mandami, a Muslim Democrat socialist, who's got a little commie, as a side dish. He's made it very clear that government is going to rule them all. He's made it very clear that quote unquote affordable housing is going to be slapping the highest, the 1% with a $9 billion tax jump. He's made it very clear that when it comes to rent controls, grocery controls, and what have you, that's going to be on the menu all day and every day for the next 4 years. Doesn't give up about cops, even though he said, well, what I said about defunding the police. Yeah, I really didn't mean it. Wink, wink. Yeah, he doesn't give up about police. And when it comes to 5 o'clock, Muslim prayers, yeah, guess what? That's on the table too. And along with all the other Muslim bullshit and their 500 plus mosques that are in New York. So, like I said in a prior video, enjoy your next 4 years in New York. Virginia, of course, with this AG and the terrible Governor Spanberger, who made it very clear she didn't give up about anybody getting killed on subways and what have you, because, of course, she was challenged by former Governor Sears, and how did that work out? And then you have New Jersey, a woman whose name I forget because I don't really give a fuck. Now, New Jersey is close to me. Grew up in the Philly suburbs. I've got family who still lives in Jersey, so it sucks for them. But then again, when you had this woman who, in an interview, was asked about parents opting out of classes that, deemed maybe not inappropriate, or deemed inappropriate for their children. She said, yeah, parents do have that right to opt out. But when it comes to one particular, when it comes to the LGBTQ club, no, we must force the kids to sit there with their eyes pried open and their ears wide open to listen to all the nonsensical garbage because, of course, the alphabet people have contributed so much. This is the Democratic Party in 2025 going forward. Mandami is the face. So for these states, for the good people in these states who didn't bother to show up, who didn't give a fuck, guess what? You got no one to blame but the man in the mirror. And with that being said, I'm Jazz Borganzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more like this? Please leave a comment below. Like it, share it, subscribe to it. Hit that notification bell so you guys never miss a thing. Continue spreading the word about the show. Appreciate you guys watching as always. And we'll see you next time. Peace.